Welcome to the Wolfpack Sports Wire, a podcast from the athletic department at Whitefield Academy. Whitefield Academy is a Christ-centered pre-K through 12 college preparatory school located in Smyrna, Georgia. On this show, we highlight our hardworking coaches and student athletes who are excelling in and out of competition. Welcome back to the Wolfpack Sports Wire. I'm your host, Jack Hunter. It is the week of September 8th, and today is the fourth episode of the show. On today's show, we have two guests for you. The first one is Whitefield head football coach Robert Walsh, following a big road win last Friday over Social Circle by a final score of 42-27. And then we will be joined by junior cross-country runner Lucy Blee, who has led the way for the girls cross-country team in the young season. First, here's Coach Walsh as he reflects on last week's win and this week's home matchup versus Darlington. Coach, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good, Jack. Feels good coming off a win. Appreciate you having me again.
So it was a big win for you guys last Friday. You now are 2-1 on the season. It was the longest road trip of the regular season. Whitefield's had some history at Social Circle, so it was good to avenge that. But overall, just another really well-played game, especially offensively. What are your thoughts, takeaways from the game? What did you really like to see from your team?
I thought at the beginning of the game we kind of started slow. We started fast with Parker Shim getting a reverse for a touchdown, and then after that, I felt like we became a little complacent. And maybe it was me as the head coach of the program, was feeling good after that. We weren't ourselves in that first half offensively. Defensively, we started really fast the first few series, and then we had a penalty that extended a drive, and then they were able to get points and a little bit of momentum off that. But the second half, I thought we returned to our true identity with the tempo on offense going really fast, and that seemed to hurt Social Circle a little bit with their conditioning and stuff.
Yeah, I want to talk about that first play of the game. So in case you listening, you don't know what's going on here. First play of the game, Mason gets a carry going to the right. Parker Shim from receiver comes around, takes the reverse, goes about 68 yards to the house. How long have you had that play kind of set for the first play of the game since you guys were coming off the bye week, and what was it like seeing it unfold in real time?
It was something that we ran last year against Darlington, actually, and as the first play of the game. Had success with it then. But I got to honestly say I went a little fanboy a little bit on Florida State. They ran two reverses against Bama. And then I saw that and kind of just reminded me that we can put that in with Parker. Especially everybody wants to stop number 0 for us. Everybody knows as he goes, we go. So they were loading up to stop Mason, and then Parker really didn't have to do too much. Landon Ryan threw a pretty good block at the very end to get him in the end zone, but we didn't really have to do too much on that. Everybody was trying to tackle number 0.
It was a big game for Parker Shim. He had almost 100 yards receiving. That play on the reverse went for 68 yards himself. He's a threat in the special teams game as well. What makes him a really valuable piece of your offense? We got to see a little bit of it last Friday.
Just his quickness and his vision, especially returning kicks for us. He does a really good job. I think it's pretty cool on our team right now. You have different guys stepping up in different games. You look at week 1, Cole Rabelais has a lot of yards receiving, a lot of catches. You look at this week, Parker Shim steps up at receiver. I think we just have a lot of different weapons, and the cool thing about all our kids is they're humble and they understand the situation and understand that some people may get the credit, but their day is going to come. They're not worried about who's getting the ball. They just want to win.
So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Mason Hollingsworth now has 9 touchdowns in the last 2 games. He had 172 yards, 4 touchdowns. I feel like this game, the yards came a little harder to come by than the Mount Vernon game. It was a lot of tough running, and he ended up really kind of bending the defense and then breaking them towards the end in the red zone. So what did you see from his game in terms of the running game that you guys had as a team, but his performance as well?
So the Social Circle came out in a little bit different defensive front than what we'd practiced all week. So we had to scheme up a few things and talk over a few things over on the sideline with our O-line. But once we got those things cleaned up, our tempo and the pace in which we play, I think just tends to wear teams down. And then if you got to try to keep up with Mason and the way his vision works and the way his cuts work, I think it just kind of eventually it's going to break the backs of the defense.
So midway through the third quarter, Social Circle scored. They pulled within 4. It was 21-17, and then you guys went on a tear of a stretch, outscoring them 21-3 from that moment, and then they scored a late touchdown to make it 21-10. What do you think happened, in that moment when your offense got the ball back, and then you obviously recovered a kick, and then had some more offensive sets? But what do you think happened with your team in general to cause them to go on this big run when their backs were up against the wall in the third quarter?
I think it goes all the way back to the week before where Social Circle loses to KIPP Atlanta. We are dealing with high school kids. They do scoreboard watch. KIPP historically has not been a great football program, but I can go ahead and tell you they're a way better football program than they've been. I think they're going to have a lot of success this year. I don't think our kids realize how good Social Circle really was and how well coached up they were. I think they turned the switch on in the second half. Definitely up front, O-line wise, they finally realized, hey, these guys are pretty good. We're going to have to come to play. So I think that had a little bit of something to do with it. I hate saying that, but I think that had a lot to do with it. I think our kids thought Social Circle's not very good. They lost to KIPP. We're just going to show up and beat them. And that's a mentality we have to change for sure.
Yeah, and I think that one of the big drives in the fourth quarter too, you guys are up 8, and Mason breaks a huge run. It looks like this is going to be kind of the dagger, and then gets called back for holding. And your next thought is, well, that drive may have gone out the window. But your team ended up responding, going all the way down the field, scoring, really kind of putting a dagger in the game after that penalty. So what did it mean to you for your offense and to have the composure to kind of go all the way back to where they were, back it up a little bit with the penalty, and then still go down the field and score there?
We work on that in practice. We'll do that on Thursdays. We'll have a successful play, and then I'll say, hey, illegal formation or holding. Now it's 1st and 20. We got to get the first down here to end the game. So we work on those things kind of, and it's different in a Friday night atmosphere, obviously, than a Thursday morning walkthrough, but we try to work on those situations of responding to adversity. I think Coach Pollard does that really, really well in the weight room, our summer program, our lifting program. I think teaching them how to respond to tough situations and how to overcome those situations, I think is something that we take pride in. I know I try to take pride in that in our program. So it's something we definitely work on.
Offensively, you guys showed great versatility in the game. You rushed for over 300 yards, passing almost 150. You've talked about wanting to kind of to balance the two together a little bit more. You guys had a lot of real spread out looks. One running back, no tight ends, and then you also had some tighter looks with 2 tight ends. So what is it like to be able to have the personnel to show teams a lot of different looks and put teams in kind of in a bind personnel wise?
I think that's, high school football, you're trying to find a numbers advantage in the blocking schemes in the run game. Passing game, you're trying to find numbers games, gain advantage in numbers. So it's a blessing to have the personnel and the kids we have right now to be able to change personnels as much as we're able to, and our kids still be able to execute. That's the benefits of being at a school like Whitefield Academy, where you have some pretty bright kids that understand things and are able to handle multiple things in different situations. But it's definitely a blessing being able to change the looks for the defense, and maybe they don't account for somebody and you're able to hit them with a big run or a big pass play, which we did with Parker Shim on a little seam. I think it was 1st and 15, and we hit that for, I think it was like 30 yards on a 1st and 15, which was huge, I think, at that point in the game.
Defensively, you mentioned hot start, then Social Circle started kind of really pushing the ball, especially on the line of scrimmage. But they had 2 drives, both inside the 10-yard line. I think one of them was at the 3-yard line, where you guys were able to kind of stall them into taking field goals and not getting into the end zone. So what was it what was it like for you to see your defense, even though they were really bending a good bit on those 2 drives specifically, to hold up and not allow them to kind of catch up to you guys offensively, because you guys were putting 7s on the board on offense?
I think that's situational football, understanding, where our kids understanding where they're at on the field. That's situations that we practice, especially on Wednesdays and Tuesdays. We go down in the red zone and really pride ourselves on keeping people out of the end zone, force them to have to kick a field goal. That's just our kids responding and understanding the situation and doing a really good job of keeping them out of the end zone.
We turn now to Darlington. Whitefield comes back home facing Darlington this Friday night. Darlington is 2-1. They're coming off of a bye week. When you think of Darlington football, a lot of people think under center, triple option offense. Obviously, you've coached against them before. You played them last year. A lot of the players have seen it before. But what are some of the challenges of playing a team that runs a very unique offense like that in the middle of the season, where you've got just this week to prepare for it?
I mean, it's tough. It's a completely different style of football. They're going to want to hold on to the football. They're going to take their 3 yards and be happy. So defensively, we're definitely going to have to hone in on our assignment. We're definitely today and tomorrow. We're actually the scout team's going to practice without a football to make sure our kids are tackling their responsibilities and honing in on their job. It's completely different. If you miss an assignment, somebody doesn't tackle what they're supposed to, it's a touchdown, or it's at least a big play. So it's definitely assignment football, attention to detail, and discipline football, which we try to pride ourselves on.
With that being said, the importance of stopping that triple option, you guys are also carrying a hot offense into the game. Overall, what do you think it's going to take to get win number 3 on the board?
Offensively, I have our scouting report right here in front of me. Keys to victory is number 1, being physical, and then number 2, the tempo in which we do things offensively. And then I have on here, we have to score every drive. We have to put points up every drive to try to put pressure on them offensively to make them feel like they have to score every drive. And then no turnovers and no penalties, no major penalties. We had a good amount of penalties this past week against Social Circle. I want to see us clean that up a little bit better. I try to pride ourselves on not having penalties that back us up on drives. We did that a little too much against Social Circle, so definitely want to clean that up.
Before we end the show, I do want to talk about the lower levels of Whitefield football: 5th and 6th grade team, 7th and 8th grade team, and then the JV team. They've all been having really great seasons, including they all won last week. So as the head of the program, what is it like to see all the way down to 5th grade that the program is really having a successful start to the year?
It's fun for me to see these guys come up through the program. They're running similar stuff to what we run at the varsity level. Obviously, it's a little watered down compared to what we do at the varsity level. But Coach Turner, Coach Ellis, and he's doing. They're both the leaders of that 5th and 6th grade program. Coach Ellis, he has been coaching the 5th and 6th grade program for a very, very long time, long before I got here. Coach Turner has taken over that program. They both do a really good job, and Coach Wright is back in the fold in coaching our 5th and 6th grade. And then our assistant to the head of school, her husband, Mr. Turner, he's also helping with the program as well. They're doing a really good job. And then our 7th and 8th grade staff, Matt Pilo, Nick Ragsdale, Brandon Rainey, Alan Quarter, Alex Livingston, they're all doing a really good job at the 7th and 8th grade level. And their version of our offense and defense is a little bit more amped up, closer to the varsity. But just being able to see them have success and seeing the future of our program is in great hands down there at the middle school level. There's not too many middle school staffs that have that much experience in coaching as we do. We're very, very blessed to have those guys, and it's exciting to see those kids come see us on Friday nights as well and be part of that as well.
How big is it for overall as a program to have middle school teams that are well ran, well coached, and that runs things that are similar to what they're going to run once they get up to the varsity level?
I think it's huge. I mean, you're talking about our freshmen coming in. They know what Texas means. They know what Oregon means. They know what our formations are defensively. They know our fronts. They know certain blitzes. They may not know all of them, but they know what some of them are called and understand it. Now, obviously, you get new freshmen that come in and they have to learn. They have to learn all that. But the kids that have been in the program, it's nice being able to them being able to transition pretty smoothly into what we're doing at the high school level.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck this Friday.
I appreciate it, Jack, and go Pack.
Our next guest is junior cross-country runner Lucy Blee. Lucy has led the girls team on and off the course this year. She recently finished 4th in the 1A through 3A division of the Ortho West Invitational at Carrollton this past weekend. She's also a two-sport athlete for the Wolfpack, playing on the girls soccer team in the spring. Today, we talked to her about her good start to the year and the team's trajectory for the rest of the season. We also learned some more about her with some rapid-fire questions. Lucy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to have you. So you guys have ran at Kosh at Westminster. You ran the Ortho West Invitational at Carrollton this past weekend. So how is the season going in your opinion? How's it been going?
Yeah, so I think it's been going really good. I'm really excited this year to have a bunch more girls. This last meet, we actually ended up finishing, I think, top 5, which is amazing. Everyone put out a really good effort, and I really think based on where we are this season, or right now in the season, I think that we're going to finish really well at the end of the season.
So you individually were 4th in the 1 through 3A rankings last weekend at that Carrollton meet. How have you been able to get off to such a good start this year?
I think this year over the summer, I've been putting in a lot more effort. I have been really focused, and I've just really been wanting to do my best. Also, I have a goal set for myself, and so I really want to achieve that goal, and I just want to strive to do the best that I can. So
Carrollton is a good meet because Carrollton's obviously the state meet, so running it earlier in the season is pretty good. So what did you learn about the course in terms of this year, in terms of your running this year, that you can maybe improve upon going forward into the state championship later?
Yeah, so I learned that the first mile I went out at a good pace, and second mile and third mile I need to just pick up the pace, learn when to pass people. There's a couple of hills, so just pick up the speed on the hills, use the downhills to my advantage, and yeah.
We had Coach Justice on the show a few weeks ago, and he talked about his emphasis on building up the girls program to the level of success the boys program has had. As somebody who's now a junior and has had a lot of success, what do you want to see this program look like, being a leader that you are?
Yeah, so I'd love for this program to grow as a whole, but to also just be a space where young girls can just come and have fun. It's not just for the competitive aspect, but also just for like the community. It's a place where we can lift each other up. It's very encouraging, and I think that the atmosphere that we have already started to build, it's just such a fun space. I love going to cross country practice every day, talking to people I normally would never have talked to if I would not have done cross country. So yeah.
So you are a multi-sport athlete, and you're a multi-sport athlete at Whitefield. What is the benefit of both running and playing soccer, and how does that help each other for you?
Yeah, so I think the benefit is just, one, expanding my connections with others. Like I said earlier, I get to talk to people I would not have regularly talked to on a regular basis. I think cross country, since it is an endurance-based sport, and so is soccer, it helps me with soccer to just maintain my athleticism and to just make sure that I'm fit for soccer. I think cross-country, I've definitely seen, especially this season, I'm not as tired of my soccer games, so I can go longer. I'm fine with playing an entire game, not getting subbed. So I just think that I have improved physically doing both.
That's great. That's great. So now we're going to do a little bit of a rapid fire before we wrap up. I've got about 6 or 7 quick questions I got to ask you before we finish things.
Okay.
First of all, what's your go-to hype-up song?
Ooh,
Or artist, if you need it.
Probably Little Baby.
All right. What's your favorite pre-race snack, if you got one?
Dates.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Bible verse? Or book, if you don't have a favorite verse?
Favorite Bible verse would be John 3:30.
All right. I like that one. Worst conditions you've ever ran in?
Probably rain.
Do you have a specific one that comes to mind?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
All right. Who is the best or loudest encourager that you run with on the cross-country team?
Probably Mr. Justice.
There we go. What's the favorite part of a race from the start to the end, maybe the halfway point? What is the favorite part of the race normally?
My favorite part of the race is finishing and realizing that I did so much better than I actually thought I did.
And outside of school, what is your favorite hobby?
Baking.
All right. Well, Lucy, I appreciate your time today, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this edition of the Wolfpack Sports Wire. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in if you've made it this far. And I'd like to thank Robert Walsh and Lucy Blee for joining me today on the show. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Homecoming is next week, so I hope everybody's getting prepared for that. And we will talk to you then on The Wire.